Hello everyone, welcome to my Dragonbane solo campaign, chapter 3, session, I guess technically 5. Technically this is session 5. Yeah. I think when I label these, it's gonna take me a while to crawl through this dungeon. I think this is gonna be a mini part session 5. We'll see how long it takes to get through this dungeon, but if you've saw my little bonus video, I talked enough about this dungeon as it is, so I probably won't dwell on it too much. Are you guys ready for a dungeon crawl? I think I am. I am too. There's gonna be a lot of oracle rolling in this one, which is gonna be really fun. It's gonna test my brain pretty well, I think, for me to interpret all these oracles for all these rooms to see what's going on. But I'm up for the challenge. So let's just get into it. You can tell it kind of tilt the map kind of the right way it should go, really. He enters here from the east side of the plateau, underneath the plateau at the Elven Undercroft. That might be a good name for this dungeon. The Elven Undercroft. I guess I won't use a specific area map for a room unless I really need to for some sort of combat effect, which I'll probably do. But I think unless I'm in combat, I think I will just stick with the dungeon map as we go through here. So if I do enter combat or I need to really explicitly detail on a room, I'll dig into the more detailed map. Otherwise, we'll just fear the mind this thing. So once again, Izzek enters in from the east. He watches as Amina and Rebel and Porkchop head off to the west, apparently to other Fraudkin villages further down the road to, I guess, inform them of Izzek's quest. Izzek lights his oil lamp. He was rather impressed to finally find a use for that strange device that he found way back in the manor house so many days ago. Who knows how the manor got key to this basement, but how fortunate it worked out. So he lights his oil lamp. These tunnels are made of earth. They're earthen tunnels. They're tall, but not particularly wide. They stretch up about 10 feet, but only about half that in width. They kind of incline up slightly, not down. He's not as concerned and dire as it sounded when he was spoken to Rebel. He knows that if he needs to, he can flee this place. This door still seems to be wide open. It doesn't appear to be shutting behind him anytime soon. If worse comes to worse, he can always leave. But he still knows nothing about these elves. Yeah, I guess he's learned where they are. That is the extent he has learned about them. So I guess from his perspective, this is a scouting mission. He's hoping to go in here and maybe just learn more about this Elven Empire, its people, its curse, and let's hope a way to resolve the quest given to him by the ancient Elven prince. So anyway, moving on. As I also mentioned, many times in the past, Nightkin can't see in the dark, but they can see quite well in dim light. So Izzek can see quite well all the way up to the first branch of Crossroads right here. Clear as day in here. I guess the first thing he's going to do is maybe he'll make a bushcraft roll, see if he can see any signs of traffic. It's quiet in here. I guess maybe he will first listen for noise and then maybe search for tracks. I guess any sign of anything. Listen for noise. He's got an awareness of 11. I think that's where listen comes into play. 17, he doesn't hear anything. He's going to look at the ground. Has there been any traffic at all? I think that's bushcraft. Got a bushcraft of 6. Nothing there. So he hears nothing. As far as he can tell, this passage is completely quiet and abandoned. When he looks at the trail of dirts in here, there doesn't appear to be any tracks at all that he can see. As mentioned, when the door was open, waft of stale air comes out of here, and it's still in here. The air is very stale and dry and musty. This open door is the first time it appears to be any fresh air that has come here in eons. Yeah. So, he's got a choice. Does he want to go south? Does he want to go northeast? After this crossroads here, the light from the door does kind of dim. So he's depending on his lantern after that point. Shining his lantern down, he can see nothing either direction. I guess as far as I'm concerned, it's kind of random. How about 1, 2, 3, he goes north. 4, 5, 6, he goes south. 4. Okay, he heads south down this hallway until it splits to another hallway. Once again, he's got a choice. In this particular case, I'm going to make the choice for him because part of the main quest is over here. The first part, the Forgotten Storage. So he does need to go that direction. I do need to steer him the correct way for the quest for that purposes. When we go to Crossroads. Up here is a couple unknowns. He can make it back to it, go back to it if he wants. But I'm happy making random choices when the choices don't matter. That makes sense? He can't miss parts of the story. I don't plan on circling back. So, south. I'm going to have him make another awareness check because there is noise in room number 5. Not that he can hear it. Even though he's got his helmet off, I'm making an assumption Izzek's not wearing his helmet unless he goes into battle. I don't think I want to bane on awareness all the way through this dungeon. What's important to scout ahead. But he is wearing his armor, of course. Yeah, not quite that crazy. He hears nothing. He goes down into the south, and where it opens up in here, this is more of a natural cavern. We're here, these tunnels were fairly clearly they were man-made, even though they were just dirt, packed earth tunnels and hadn't been used in a long time. But you know, they didn't appear to be random. They weren't natural caves. But when he gets into this bend here, this is a natural cavern. He can tell because the floor is littered with stones, the beginning of stalactites and stalagmites. In fact, this is room number 5 that I have already written. A pre-written waypoint. Let me pull that out. This is the the crystal pool. This crooked round room is a natural cave, and stalactites and stalagmites fill the room. The floor is slick with calcium deposits. A crystal clear pool lies in the south of the room, so clear you can see an iron chest in its depths. The water ripples irregularly as if something moves in the deep. Oh, our first actual active waypoint. So yes, this room is littered with stones, stalactites, stalagmites. It is not an easy passage through here. It is rough and difficult, and as stated, slick. I think I am going to make a acrobatics check. Yes. But I'm going to give him a boon on an acrobatics check. He's not doing anything especially tricky. He's just walking on slick floors, and nor is it particularly trapped. So I don't think I need to, I think doing it with a boon makes sense. A dragon. So he does succeed with a boon. He doesn't have any trouble navigating this. I've already got a check mark next to my acrobatics already. I don't have very many skill checks made so far, but either way, he got it. So no problem. He navigates these floors without issue, even though they're slick. Nightkin are used to caves. Half of where Nightkin live frequently are in caves. Hardly his first. But as he rounds the bend here, there is indeed a large pool here of water. A slow drip of water, drips into this pool. It's crystal clear. He looks down to it, and sure enough, there appears to be an iron chest, stone chest, some sort of chest at the bottom of this pool. Well, he automatically thinks this has to be some kind of trap. He stands and monitors this for a while, looks away. I think he's going to search to see if there are any traps nearby. He'll search the base of the pool. He'll search the wall. Maybe there's some sort of switch, some sign of magic or an illusion. He's very untrustworthy. Who leaves a stone chest in a crystal clear water and in a cave? Except for people who make dungeons. Those don't let people do that kind of thing. He'll do another awareness check. Wow, that's another dragon. Wow. Which, I already have a dot against my awareness as well. That's 2 dragons in a row. That's a good sign for today's activity. I hadn't really thought about this. He doesn't see any signs of any traps, any signs of any triggers. This crystal water seems legit. Is a pool of water, and there does appear to be a chest down there. But with that dragon on awareness, he senses there is something in that water. He sees the hints of tentacled movement in that water. Something moves in the deep, just as the crystal pool is. If it is an ambush, it's an ambush by some sort of living creature. Is this chest really worth pursuing? Is there a way that maybe he can set sort of trap or something for this thing that is moving in the water? I'm gonna maybe see if there's any improvised weapons in here. Let's take a look. Of course there are some improvised weapons. I'm not rolling for initiative. He's not really stepped terribly clear of that water. Because he rolled a dragon on his acrobatics, I'm saying he's being pretty quiet. He's not exactly trying to be stealthy, but he's not alerting anything in here. And with his dragon on awareness, he's aware of something they're not. And I think all this is coming up perfectly for Izzek so far. Let's see if there's any improvised weapons that he might be able to use to help him with whatever is in this water. I'm going to draw 3 improvised weapons. A bucket of soapy water. That's probably some calcium stuff. A boulder. Okay. And a boiling cauldron. Let's see. I don't really like buckets of waters and boiling cauldrons. What are these? Both in things? I should take out the in things. Those are both well, they may come into play later. Either way, not super thrilled with how I can interpret those. No one's fallen down. But boiling cauldron might work. Boulder. Make an acrobatic check to jump up on a boulder, throw yourself at an enemy. You know, I think maybe I could do something with this. I like this boulder idea in a weird sort of way. Maybe something slightly different. I did say this room is covered in stalactites and stalagmites. Above this pool, there is a stalactite hanging down. Is it the tights that go up? Mites go up, tights go down. I don't know. Google me on that. By the way, there is a large stalactite hanging up there. Above this pool, if he could knock that stalactite down, that would crash into the pool, maybe injuring whatever creature's in there. I'm going to try that. I do have a grappling hook with some rope. I think this is a bit of a long shot, but I'm going to try it. I think this might be worth giving it a shot. I think this would work in a weird sort of way. I think it is going to try to latch onto that stalactite with the grappling hook and pull it and see if he could break it and have it tumble into the water, injuring whatever may be in there, or at least scaring the tar out of it, if nothing else. But this might be a difficult check. Let's see. I think I will have to make maybe an agility check. An agility check to see if I can lasso that grappling hook up there. Let's try that first. Agility of 11. 11. That's exactly what I needed. So I say he does indeed latch that grappling hook and yank it tight just as it kind of hits that part of it. Now he just needs to maybe make a strength check to see if he can pull that stalagmite and break it and snap it and see if it'll come tumbling to the ground. Let's try that. 7. Okay, so yes, I say he does succeed that. He does exactly that. He latches that grappling hook and rope to that stalactite, yanks it really hard, pulls with all his might, and that thing snaps. And the whole thing comes tumbling into the water. Let's roll for some damage and initiative. Yeah, 2d6 damage. One. Whopping 5 points of damage. I think what I had planned for this pool was actually a monster. That was in here in our old Adventurer's Handbook. So many fun things in this book. Little things, just specific little things. There is a giant eel in here. The eel beast. I was going to try to use this for this monster in here. He has some very nasty attacks, though. Like all these drowning attacks to pull me in the water and prevent me from doing much of anything. Here, I'll read it to you while I put it away. Let's see. It's a Frosty 2 creature. Hit points 32, although he's just lost 5, so he has hit points of 27. He's got a tail swipe. That does 2d8 bludgeoning damage and knock people prone. 2d8 damage bite, which would be the best thing in the world for him just to roll this over and over again, even though it's a lot of damage. But he has a drowning attack, which will pull me in the water, and I will have to use a strength roll to break free. And he has a construction attack, which does damage, which I also have to roll to break free, or I take damage every time. Both things, it says I cannot move or perform actions that require body movement. See, like this is more specific. You know, I debated in the past with some of these other texts that said you can't move, but they didn't say can't move. Well, phrase it differently. This is so clear. Cannot move or perform actions that require body movement. That tells me pretty clear that I couldn't even swing a sword. Izzek's going to put on his helm. This eel beast, it's not quite an eel beast. What happens is these tentacles sling out of the water here, belonging to some sort of sea creature, whatever it is living in this thing. It roars in anger. It's more like a giant underground octopusy kind of critter, like an octopus. That's kind of what this thing looks like. Not really an eel, because it has tentacles and tries to reach out to him. Yes, anyway. Let me get some scratch paper out. I gotta make note. Thing has hit points of 27 at the moment, so it did 5 points of damage to it. Okay. Is this gonna put on his helmet so he keeps that armor class bonus? Yeah. Let's roll for initiative. Look at that, getting into combat right off the bat. But you know, how can you avoid treasure? You get a chance to see treasure, you're going to take advantage of treasure. Unless it's illusionary treasure. What if it's all a lie? What if it's all a lie? 2 initiative for Izzek. 2 initiative for this beast. Okay. Huh. I think I will switch an initiative here with this beast to hold off in case I need to do an evade. I will need to do an evade because it's a monster. So it goes first. Let's roll a d4 for this monster's attacks. It doesn't even have a full d6. It just has d4s. Half the attacks are very bad to me. This might not go well for me. I may have to figure out how I can break through on that. Oh, this is a 2. Like I said, that was probably the best attack I could hope for, since it just does straight up damage. 2, 3, 5 points of damage. My armor covers that. I'm going to attack back. He draws his Elven Blade. 6, hit. 2d8 plus 4. 5, 2, 7 plus a d4 for a strength bonus. 8 more points of damage to this thing. It's down to 19 health. Boom. It goes. D4. 3. All right, this is that drowning attack. The giant octopus thing pulls the player character into the deep, and the victim immediately begins to drown. The player character cannot move from actions that require body except trying to break free, which takes a strength roll with a bane. Others can help. He doesn't have any help here tonight. I'm going to try to evade that attack, even though my evade's at a bane. It's always worth trying to evade. Well, no, I'll probably need that. Boy, I will need that action to probably break free. All right, I'm not going to evade, I guess. I will need my action to try to break free of that creature's tentacles. Let's look at the drowning rules. I want to see if it applies to me right away. If I have a turn or two to deal with the drowning rules. How quickly do I gotta deal with this situation? Do I take damage right away? Or is it after a certain period of time? Conditions. Other hazards. Swimming and drowning. All player characters are decent swimmers. Roll a con roll to hold my breath. Okay, so I gotta roll a con roll to hold my breath. If the roll fails, I begin to drown, taking d6 per round. It says I can make a swimming roll, but I'm going to say he's not necessarily pulling me in the water. He just kind of grappled me. I don't know if I'm going with pulling in the water. This pool I don't think is really quite that crazy. And I guess maybe I can try to do that. I don't want to try to climb in and out of this pool like some sort of crazed fiend all the time. I don't know if I really want to deal with quite that much hecticness. So I'm going to say it's just mostly like a constriction, except sort of drowning. I'll do that. I'll make a con roll to see if I begin to take drowning damage. I think that's fair. That's a con. It is straight up con roll. That is a dragon. Again, I'm going to say not only do I succeed in that con roll, but I say I break his grapple. I think that's fair. And if he tries to pull me from the pool, I'm saying he stopped pulling me from the pool. Yeah, I think that's fair. Or maybe I should say it just succeeds, because this is my action that I have to take on this. I think during my round, it breaks free. I'm going to say it just breaks free from the grapple. I don't have to make a strength roll. That's what I'll do. I'll just say I managed to break free from it. I don't need to make a plus roll on it. The dragon kind of saved me as far as having to make any more boon of a roll on it. But I will say that takes my action to do so. Sometimes you got to negotiate these dragon scenarios a little bit. I want to make it to my benefit, but you know, I don't think I should be able to get an extra attack after his attack. That seems a little harsh. Okay. All right. Okay. So I guess both my attacks, I think this is actually pretty good. I don't need to switch anything for this. I'm going to go first. Roll hit. That is a failure. That is a dragon roll. I mean, a demon roll. You know, I know this seems really early. This seems very, very, very early for this sort of thing. But I think I'm going to use my lucky coin that I got not too long ago. Allows me to re-roll a demon roll once per shift rest. I think I'm going to re-roll. I don't think I want a demon roll right now. Let's see if I hit. 19, I still missed. Okay, he goes. Oh, D4 roll. 4. That's the drowning one. I take 2d4 damage from ERC, so the constriction roll. 2d4 damage. 9 points of damage. Izzek's going to take 2. Now constricted. I have to make a strength roll to break this, which I failed to do. I take on my turn. Is it my turn? I got to take an additional 2d8. Oh my god, 2 to 4. Every time is the victim's turn. Oh, it's 2d4. Oh, not 2d6. 2 to 4. Let me reroll my damage. It's 2 to 4 damage. Okay, hold on. That's not so bad. Okay, 2 to 4 damage. 2, no. And then I got to take, on my turn, 8. I got to take damage again, no damage. And I failed to break it. That's my turn. He gets to go again. 2d8. 2d8 bludgeoning damage. 6 to 8. All right, I'll rather take 1 point of that whole affair than all of that. Wow, that was not a great round for me. Okay. We'll try this again. I do have defensive, which allows me to parry without spending any willpower points on it. But you can't really parry any of these monster attacks. There's none of these here that says I can parry. Defensive's not going to help me out here. 4 and 6. Let's see. All right, I'm going to go first. I have to break it. That time I succeeded in breaking it. All right, does that I succeeded in breaking that. That break free was my just say take a strength roll with a bane for this constriction movement. All right, I don't like the sound of that. Okay, I still succeeded in breaking free. Okay, I have some fun with 2 constriction movements. This is going to be just a draining sort of scenario for me here. I don't like it at all. 1, that's the knockdown, but he's already kind of got me grappled. But tail swipe. Inflicts 2d6 bludgeoning damage and knocks the victim down. Well, I'm already being constricted. How could I be constricted and knocked down at the same time? Already kind of up in the air and constricted. I think I'm just going to take the damage because I don't think he can constrict me and knock me down at the same time. But it's 2d10 damage. Or no, 2d6 damage. Not too bad. 5, so I don't take damage. But I don't think I'm knocked prone. That just doesn't really make much sense. I'm going to go. I have broken free. I'm going to attack. 13. That is exactly what I need to hit. 2d8. 8. 1, 9 plus a d4. 9 plus 4 is 13. This thing has 6 hit points left. This thing is hurt, like really, really hurt. I think I'm going to have this thing make a morale check. He doesn't need to die here today. I'm going to say, maybe I'll just ask the Oracle. We'll just go with that. Let's see. We'll just do a simple yes-no question on this. Hey, Oracle, does this octopusy sea creature thing flee? One. Extreme no. Okay. I guess it thinks it's got me. It's not upset. It's going for it. Yeah, so that's my turn. It goes again. A 1. Okay, now here's that one. The tail stripe. Again, I'm not constricted this time. 2d6 damage. 6. I'm going to say it does knock me prone. New round. Okay. All right. 2 for me. 2 for this creature. I'm going first twice. I'm going to keep both those going first. He's got 6 hit points. If I can just hit it, it's likely going down. But I've got to stand up for 1. Oh, this could be bad. Mistakes were made. Yeah, okay. I have to stand up. That counts my first initiative. I was knocked prone. I'm going to swing. 15. I'm going to push this roll. I've got to take this thing out. I can't just keep getting knocked down. I'm going to take a dazed condition for agility, since that's kind of what's going on with me being knocked down. I'm saying when I got knocked down, even wearing a helmet, I hit my head pretty hard. I'm a little dazed, but I'm still going for it. 18. Oh my God. Killing me. Killing me, Smalls. I took it, pushed it, still failed. It gets to go twice. 1 is that 2d10 or 2d6 knocked me prone again. 10 points of damage. I take 3 more. All right, it gets to go again. 1, oh my God. I'm already prone. I can't be knocked prone again. 7 points of damage. Don't take any damage that time. New initiative. Wow. Pushed my roll. Failed twice. I started rolling some dragons. It started out pretty good, but that was not great. I think he's probably not. I'm not going to roll a morale check for him again unless he takes damage and doesn't die. He's obviously doing a pretty good job of knocking me around. And you know, a lot of these creatures that knock prone, paralyze, prone, paralyze, you know, control, all about battlefield control. 2, 3. Well, I don't get to swap anything. He's going first twice. I'm already knocked prone. What more could he do to me? All right. Yeah. I can try to evade an attack if need be. 4. It's that constriction attack again. 2d4 points of damage. Okay, he can't pierce me through my armor. But he constricts me again, which I'll take damage on my turn. Oh, that was really, this should be that. Okay. He gets to go again. Four, same attack. I'm already constricted. I can't get more constricted. Or can I? 2 to 4. He's not going to damage my armor through here. Okay, my go. I've got to break free, which requires a strength roll of the Bane. That's a demon. I'm going to say I take another 2d4 damage. 4 could pierce my armor. 4 I do. I take a point. I got to try to break free. 13, that's successful. 12, that's successful. I do break free. But I only took damage and didn't do anything that round to help me out. Another round. Wow. Don't fight any more battlefield control monsters. Note to self. Because I don't get to go. He just gets to go. I get nothing. I don't like this. Not great. I still can't... I can still go after him. Well, I can't. He's already... I'm already going after him. I can't go after him any more than I'm already going after him. All right, D4 roll. 4. That constriction attack again. Okay, so let's see if he does any damage to me. 3, he does not do damage to me. I'm already constricted. He goes again. 3, that's that other drowning constriction attack. I'm already constricted. And this one does not do any more damage to me. Other than I still need strength to break through. Well, I guess at this point, if all he's going to do is control, then that does help. I'm going to try to break free. Add a Bane. 2 and 5. I do manage to break free. I'm going to attack. 6. I do hit. I should, with a little bit of luck, finish him off. 5. 10. He does indeed finish off this tentacle creature. Wow. Oh, wow. Yeah, no more control creatures. No more eel beasts. Look at this. I just started this dungeon. I've already taken 5 points of damage. Half my hit points. That's the funny thing about this game, of course. You know, that's why dungeon crawling is very tough as a solo player, because every combat I fight, even with a great helm and chainmail, a 7 armor, any monster you fight, because I got a Bane on evades, you still end up losing a good chunk of your hit points. This tentacled creature slinks back into the depths, slowly decreased and dead. Izzek is going to take a short rest with his helm. He's going to try to heal the hit points he's lost in this battle. 5. That's exactly what he needed. So he takes a 10-minute rest, short rest. He is able to, because of his helm, of remind folks I've got that lovely first magic item I ever got, which is the Helm of Eternal Health. On a round rest, he healed 1 hit point. On a stretch rest, he healed additional D6. So there you go. Healed back to full. But I've used my stretch rest for this entire dungeon. At least until I take a long rest. I'm gonna... Izzek's worked hard for it. He listens to this clear pool for a little while. Here's nothing. He's gonna go in there and try to grab that chest. Sure enough, at the bottom of this pool, there is a stone, or I should say an iron chest down here, old, rusted, in this water for a long time. He's going to try to pull it out of this thing. I'm going to take a strength roll. 18. Izzek is unable to pull this chest out. So he is just going to try to open it. Oracle, is this chest locked? Let's see. Extreme, yes. Here is a big solid padlock on this open chest underwater. It's not that deep. You know, it's like, 8 feet underwater. It's not that deep. But it's locked. He couldn't lift it or carry it out of there. He's going to take a deep breath, come up, breathe again, and I think he's going to try to break that lock off. He's swinging kind of underwater with the sun sword. Aldir, the sun sword seems to once again express its disapproval. Izzek's hand kind of goes numb as he swings it at this lock. He feels a jolt of pain coming up from his sword at his disapproval of being underwater. I'm going to do it at a Bane. Another demon. Yeah, I'm going to say Izzek can't break this lock. He can't lift this chest. This chest is meant to be here, I guess. Izzek climbs out of the water, tired, a little bit saddened over this whole affair. I guess that chest is going to stay there for future adventurers. Anyway, I think that's been a good amount of time, and I've only covered one room. So I'll pick it up here in my next one, and we'll get down to this this major important room 1. But don't worry, not every room is going to have combat in it. I really am not intending it to be that way. In fact, I'm hoping with a little bit of luck, not many of these rooms, well, maybe a couple up in here, but not every room is going to have combat in it. So most of them will cruise by pretty quick, but I intend to have a little bit. See you next session.